improving load speed with a technique called critical CSS. We're going to look at the coverage tool, which is a Chrome dev tool. This tool is going to show us all the unused CSS that our pages are currently using. We're going to install a tool on our computer with Node called minimise CSS. This tool is going to help us extract the critical CSS from any URL that we need. Then we're going to defer the loading of our CSS files into the footer of the page rather than the header. So this is the main problem that we're trying to solve here, is that the page won't load fast if it needs to load a massive CSS file first. So this is where critical CSS comes into it, and this technique allows us to. This technique is all about putting just the used CSS code into the header and then deferring all the other styles into the footer. So we're avoiding render blocking by putting all the unused CSS into the footer and just putting the CSS that we need for the page to load in the header. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the fourth step. Is we're going to actually just copy and paste the critical CSS directly into the header, so the page will load nice and fast. Coverage tool by Chrome Dev Tools. Go inspect element, and then I go Command Shift P, and then coverage, and we can choose this one. Okay, so now we've got our coverage tab up. Now what you want to do is hit refresh, and this will load all the CSS and JavaScript assets for the page. Now this is the problem here. We see that the unused bytes is it's 94.8% unused bytes. So when I select this file here, it loads the actual style sheet up in this panel. Now we could go through and copy and paste all these green CSS rules out. So the green ones are the rules that are actually being used, and the red ones are the ones that are not being used but are still loading. So we could copy and paste all the green ones out and put it into the header, but that would be too prone to errors and too time consuming and just not a fun task at all. So this is where we want to use a tool to extract all these green parts for us and compile it into a minimized CSS file. And that's where we're going to use this tool, minimise CSS. We're going to install this on our computer and run a script that will extract the CSS from any URL, and therefore we can just copy and paste that into the header. So this is going to get our critical CSS for us. Install the minimise CSS tool, and we can do so with npm. So you will need to have the Node package manager installed on your computer, and we can install it with this command. So you don't need the two parameters here. You can just install it with npm install minimise CSS. So I'll just run that. Now I'm in a folder on my desktop called min CSS, and if we go npm install minimal CSS, I've already got it installed, but so it should be quite fast. So that's installed. Now we need to run it, and if we go down here to usage, so this here is the path to the node program. This is the website you want to extract the CSS from, and here's an additional website that you can throw in if you want, and here's a file that it's going to output the code to. So we'll run this for my local test page here on the home page. Let's do that. So the command we want to run is this one here. So that's the location of the program. Here's the website that we want to extract the critical CSS from, and here's the output file. So we'll just enter on that. Takes a bit of time. Now it's done. And if I do an ls now, here's our file that is output. So if we take a look at this file, so here's all the code here's all the critical CSS that we need to paste into our header. Let's grab our minimal CSS and add it directly into the header of the home page. So I'll just copy everything and go edit page. And I've installed a plugin on this site which allows us to add styles or scripts to each page individually. So this is my home page, and I've got a nice header area here which I can load a style or a script into. I just paste that. Now I just need to surround it with style tags, and I'll get rid of that comment. Okay, so that's in there like that. Now if we go over to the view source of the page, we'll see what's happened here if I refresh. So now we've got a bunch of style sheet in the header. Now that looks like a lot, and it is, but don't worry, that loads really fast. That's the quickest way to load your critical CSS. Another note is that I've taken the main style sheet from the header here and loaded it in the footer. So down here. So I actually created a child theme and loaded the parent style in the footer. So we still need this style. We can't just remove it altogether. We still need it there, but it's okay if it loads late. So if it loads in the footer, that's fine. And this is the function that I've put into my child theme functions file to load it in the footer. So what this function here does is this function deregisters the parent style sheet and then reloads it in the footer with this function here. So this is my custom function, and I'm enqueuing the style sheet again, grabbing it from the parent folder, and then looking for a hook called getFooter, and then it's running this function, and therefore it's loading the style sheet in the footer. So that's it. So that's critical CSS, and you'll find that that'll really improve your page load speed and really make the page feel like it's loading very, very quickly.